Home sweet home.
This wonderful planet still keeps great secrets for us. It's time to find out a few. 20 amazing facts about Earth. Number 1, a golden balloon. This is shocking. The entire planet has about 20 million tons of gold, enough to cover the entire Earth's surface with over 17-inch thick layer of this precious metal. If we wanted to distribute all this wealth among all the Earth's inhabitants, each person would get about 9 pounds. But don't get excited. Sorry to tell you that this isn't the solution to all your financial hardships. This gold is extremely diluted. You'll find a single gram of gold in 100 million tons of seawater. What a shame. Number 2, color purple. Did you know that there's a theory suggesting the Earth was once purple? That's right. Dr. Shaladitya Dasarma, a professor at the University of Maryland, points out that this occurred when the Earth was still inhabited exclusively by microorganisms that carried out photosynthesis, but they didn't use chlorophyll, which would have given them a green color, but a purple compound giving the planet that shade. Can you imagine having seen the Earth from space at that time? It must have been quite a sight. Number 3, gray cast iron. The core of the Earth is as hot as the surface of the sun. What temperature do you think they have? None other than 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's so hot it's hard to find anything to compare it to. But let's stick with the figure. The Earth's heat, when origin, caused this temperature, which is also the result of the decomposition of radioactive elements located in the core, such as uranium, thorium, and potassium. Still, the most common component of the core is none of them but iron. Yes, 88% of the Earth's core is gray cast iron at high temperatures. Number 4, the Earth is radioactive. The Earth continuously produces none other than 44 terawatts, or 44 trillion watts of heat. What's producing all this heat? None other than nuclear fission, meaning that we have an atomic bomb under our feet. Half of this heat comes from the disintegration of certain elements. Some scientists measured particles called antineutrinos and determined that those elements were the thorium, uranium, and potassium present in the core and mantle. It's incredible that we live in a radioactive giant, don't you think? Number 5, magnetic protection. The sun's atmosphere releases a series of particles that are generically known as the solar wind. The Earth protects itself from them thanks to a magnetic field that is a product of the iron and nickel in its core and its rapid rotation. This protective shield dissipates the 100 to 300 tons of cosmic dust that comes into contact with the planet every day. Number 6, there's life in the depths of the Earth. You heard it right. It's a whole world of microorganisms up to 1.5 miles below the seafloor. Most of these living beings are prokaryotes without a defined core, or microorganisms that have an extremely slow life cycle, can live for thousands of years, and survive by feeding on the minerals that surround them. Number 7, pay attention to Route 66. Did you know that the limit between the mantle and the core of the Earth is only 1,864 miles below our feet? That distance is equal to Route 66 of the United States, which connects Chicago with LA. Gray cast iron is closer than you think. By the way, what do you think would happen if there was a tunnel that went through the Earth? According to some physics studies, it would take a human being 42 minutes to jump through that hole and come out the other side. But, of course, it's a fantasy journey because this person would have to put up with high core temperatures to begin with. Number 8, continents moving around. Earth is the only planet in the solar system with living tectonic plates. One of the consequences of these movements is the displacement of the continents, which move an average of 0.7 inches per year. However, some continents are more mischievous than others. The most static moving less than a millimeter, and the most restless up to 4 inches per year. Number 9, the Earth is not round. It's not flat either, obviously. It's an oblate sphere at the poles, and it's slightly thicker at the equator. So the place furthest from the center of the Earth is the Chimborazo volcano, located precisely in Ecuador. This has the consequence that gravity is 0.5% less on this side of the world than at the poles. Although it isn't the only factor, the elements and minerals that make up the Earth can be more closely packed in one part than another, making gravity's impact even more irregular. Number 10. 17,000 meteorites. Every year, about 17,000 meteorites fall on our planet. Haven't you seen any? This is due to the great work carried out by our atmosphere, which dilutes them until they're almost imperceptible due to the heat generated by friction when passing through it. Plus, most of them are already extremely small. Adding their fragments, they usually reach between 0.1 pounds and 22 pounds. We're lucky. Number 11. It has extreme temperatures. Speaking of climates, the Earth is a planet with extreme temperatures. The coldest point was recorded in Antarctica in 1983. It was the Vostok station at -117 degrees Fahrenheit, although there is an unofficial record of Dome A, the highest point of the Antarctic plateau at -144 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, this sucks.
As for the hottest peak, there's a tie. Both the Lut Desert in Iran and the Sonoran Desert in Mexico have registered none other than 177.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists are still not clear whether this phenomenon is related to climate change or not in Mexico. Number 12. The hole in the ozone layer will close. It's not all bad news. The hole in the ozone layer is shrinking. This is happening because since ozone depletion was discovered, the product and consumption of chlorofluorocarbons, ozone-depleting substances, have been reduced. Also, the dire effects of UV exposure, such as skin cancer, made people take action immediately. In the early 2000s, the consumption of these substances was almost entirely reduced. The ozone layer is expected to return to pre-1980 levels by the middle of this century, and we can repeat the feat with respect to global warming. Number 13. The longest mountain range in the world. It isn't the Himalayas or the Andes. The longest mountain range in the world extends to the bottom of the seabed, specifically in the Atlantic. The Mid-Atlantic Range is 40,000 miles long and rises an average of 18,000 feet above the seafloor. As more lava comes out, this mountain range gets longer and longer. Number 14. The poles also move. The magnetic North Pole, the direction in which the compass needle always points, is not fixed. It was discovered in 1831 by James Ross, and years later, in 1904, Roald Amundsen found it again, but was surprised to discover that it had drifted about 31 miles, which means that the magnetic North Pole isn't fixed, but moving around. And that's not all. Every 200,000 or 300,000 years, the poles end up reversed, the North Magnetic Pole in the south and vice versa. A forthcoming reversal is expected, although scientists don't know for sure what effects this reversal will have on our planet. Number 15. The moon was part of the Earth. At some point in history, the Earth was alone, without any satellites around. But this changed when a Mars-sized body called Theia struck it and caused a piece to break off, forming the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. Are you impressed to know about it? 'Cause I am! Number 16. The largest organism. The largest living organism in the world is the fungus of the species Armillaria ostoyae. This fungus started as a single spore and spread over 3.7 square miles. It lives in the Malheur National Forest in Oregon and could be up to 8,500 years old. Number 17. The days are getting longer. Did you know that little by little the days get longer? You probably didn't expect that, but it's true. Due to the effect of the moon on the Earth, the planet is rotating slower and slower, causing a delay of 17 milliseconds every 100 years. This may sound insignificant, but when the dinosaurs still existed, there were only 23 hours in a day. We have to thank the moon because without it, the Earth would rotate in only 6 hours, and our lives would be way more stressful. Number 18. The Earth is hotter in the northern summer. Did you know that the Earth isn't always at the same distance from the Sun? That's right. In July, it's about 93.8 million miles, while in January, it's only 90 million miles. Despite that, the planet is 4 degrees Fahrenheit hotter in July than it is in January. Why is it hotter just when it's further away? Because in the summer of the northern hemisphere, that is, July, there's more solid surface heating up than in the southern summer, which causes more heat to accumulate. Number 19. Rainbows are circular. I bet you're amazed every time you see a rainbow and wonder where it begins and ends. The answer is nowhere. Rainbows are complete circles, but the horizon hides half of them from us. The only way to see them entirely is from the air. Number 20. The most similar planet is 1,400 light years away. Let me introduce you to Kepler 186f, a planet located 492 light years away and in the habitable zone of a dwarf star very similar to ours. It's thought that its composition is rocky, like the Earth, and that it can hold water in liquid form. So it most likely has the conditions to be inhabited, if it's not already. However, not all are similarities. Kepler receives from its star only a third of the energy that the Earth receives from the Sun. And it is calculated that the brightness of its star at noon would be equivalent to the brightness that we appreciate 1 hour before sunset. If you move to Kepler 186f, you would experience sunset at noon. These were 20 amazing facts about Earth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. See you in the next video.